Hello, welcome, Amanda. I'm joined here by Amanda today, who is joining me for a Kundalini Yoga and forest bathing retreat in New Year in March 2023. So it's a very, very exciting event, and I wanted to ask to chat about forest bathing a little bit. What is forest bathing, and how could forest bathing work with Kundalini Yoga? So welcome, Amanda.
Hey Daria, thank you for having me for a little
Great.
bit.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have been to Amanda's bathing, forest bathings before, and it was just so wonderful. And we both said it wouldn't be just so wonderful to put Kundalini yoga and forest bathing together. So this is how it all started, really. So Amanda, if you could start, I think I would like to share a bit more about my forest bathing experience. But if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into forest bathing in the first place.
Absolutely. I got into forest bathing through my own kind of journey, really. I kind of started on a self-development, self kind of uncovering, self-connection journey, and I was spending a lot of time in nature. I was living by the coast. I was walking on the beach every morning before I went to work in an office. My job was really kind of high pressured and busy and full on. And it became really obvious the different versions of me, the version of me in nature and the version of me in the office.
Mm-hmm.
In nature, I was really calm. I felt, like inner peace. I felt connected. I was inspired by what I was seeing around me in nature. And then later on in the day, when I was in the office and, caught up in that swirl of work, I'd kind of noticed the difference, my heart racing, everything kind of like, going and yeah. And that was kind of the beginning of that kind of connection or that exploration into my relationship with nature. And then it kind of like it deepened and went into more of a kind of, I guess, a spiritual exploration as well. But that just got me so curious, just seeing how different I was and how, what I guess, more supported and weller I felt, for want of a better word,
Mm-hmm.
in nature compared to, I guess, like the working modern life that we live in. So yeah, it was a kind of a curiosity that started there, and then I just let it kind of unfold.
And how did you find forest bathing? Because it's not very popular, is it?
No, it's really not very kind of well known. I mean, although our connection with nature goes back to when we kind of,
Of
we
course.
first had our feet on the land and we lived out in nature. Um, I had never heard of it before. And as my journey kind of went further, and actually I was practicing Kundalini out in nature, and there was real magic happening. It was very transformative. I was receiving kind of like insights and guidance from the kind of the universe. I actually Googled what the is happening to me in nature, and that research into why am I feeling this in nature, why is it having such an impact on me, led me to Japan, where I stumbled across Shinrin-yoku, which is the term that they use for forest bathing. And that's where forest bathing originated as a practice in Japan in the 80s. Um, and yeah, and so, yeah, I think, yeah, sorry, I've
So
lost.
this is how you got into forest bathing, and then you did
Yeah,
some kind of training, or you?
yeah, absolutely. And when I read about it, it felt like, yes, this is what I want to kind of understand more, how nature supports us, how to kind of, dive into that support for other people. Really, it started as my own personal journey and understanding
Mm.
that connection. And then it obviously kind of went on from there to how I can share it with other people and share the support that it gives. Um, but in Japan, Shinrin-yoku means to bathe in the forest, which is why we get that slightly misleading word forest bathing over here. And often people think that we're going swimming in the forest, and they're like
Mhm.
asking, "Do I need to bring my swimming costume?" And I'm like, "No, no, no! Please keep your clothes on." It's about that immersion of the self, the whole self into nature. And that's really the practice of forest bathing, immersing yourself in nature.
So what are the benefits, and how is the forest bathing working?
Mm. So forest bathing is really a practice of slowing down and using your senses. So when I share forest bathing, it's very much sharing activities that help to activate your senses. So it's about getting kind of out of the mind and dropping down into the body, and our senses are, a really great way of doing that. And by slowing down and becoming kind of aware of our senses, we start to notice what's going on around us in nature. So we're becoming present in the moment. We're noticing a leaf falling off the tree, the stillness of the trees, whatever's going on. We're becoming in that moment, we're becoming present. And through that, we're connecting to that moment, to each moment in nature, we're connecting with nature from our whole self, from our body, from tuning in with what's going on in our intuition, in our bellies, those natural instincts that I really encourage with the practice of forest bathing to follow. So it's really, it's quietening the mind, coming into the body, and just being in the moment and with whatever arises.
And from my understanding, I don't know, because I feel this strongly when I'm like lying down in the park or in the forest, wherever it is, like under the trees. Like they say, like there's chemicals that trees release some kind of chemical, right? And this is kind of how because obviously I do relaxation, like shavasana at the end of each class, but I feel like when this lying down is done in the forest under the trees, it goes so much deeper. It's not as deep as much as I love Kundalini Yoga and stuff. I feel like this lying down, it's way deeper when it's done in the forest under the trees, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many benefits to connecting with nature and being out in nature. And you just talked about the phytoside. So we're breathing in the properties of the tree, and that really supports specifically our immune system. So forest bathing boosts the immune system. It increases your natural killer cells, which are the cells that fight, disease and, kind of increase your immunity. But there are so many benefits to it. It's great for the mind. It really calms the nervous system. It increases positive emotions and reduces negative emotions. So it's great for, kind of anxiety, depression, releasing stress. In nature, it kind of goes back to where our flight or fight reaction or response kind of came from. In nature, we're surrounded by an environment that we recognize and it's really familiar, and we can kind of see the patterns and everything that surround us. And in that environment, our nervous system is calm because it knows what's going on. So if something changes, it can kind of recognize that really easily, which is why it's just so good for the nervous system, for calming the mind, supporting mental health. Great for the heart, supports metabolic disease and disorders as well. I mean, this just it helps you sleep better. You tend to get better kind of length and quality of sleep afterwards. Brilliant for social isolation because obviously you're feeling connected. You become aware of everything that we are connected to around us in the natural environment, as well as the people that we're forest bathing with. There are so many. It can it can go on and on and on. But yeah, it supports the mind, it supports the body. It's great for spiritual exploration as well. Really kind of widens, whenever you go for a walk, sometimes you can have that kind of like magic idea drop in. It's because your perspective is opening up. So it's great for kind of creativity as well.
Of course. Yeah, that's wonderful. And It's interesting because, I mean, for quite a few people, it's obvious and absolutely natural, but unfortunately, for so many of us, it isn't. And we actually need to do this work to, connect and come back to ourselves. I remember, I think when I went to your first forest bathing, I remember there was somebody and said, "Oh my God, I feel like I had a small holiday." It was only like 2 hours of forest bathing, but it was so like mindful, so you were so present, and very very relaxing environment. And the benefits of that relaxation, that kind of like slowness, it's really what we really really need in our lives, right? This is why we of the stress that we have going on, the kind of pressure of life, the pace of our modern life is just like too we're lived too fast. There's too much stimulants, too much going on, and this is why all this stuff is working very very well these days, huh?
Absolutely. We forget we're natural
Mm,
creatures. We forget that, nature is kind of where we came from. It's our natural home. It's an environment that we might not feel like it's familiar on a day-to-day level, but inside within, there's a knowing that there is, that is a safe place. It's where we belong. And as kids, and if you're a kid that kind of grows up in the countryside or kind of close to nature, you have that natural connection, and it's known that you can kind of have that nature connection deficit, as you turn into an adolescent and you grow up, and you kind of forget
mm.
that connection that you had as a child. And then we can sometimes have to go through that kind of remembering. But yeah, it's so good, so good, and it's such a great combination with Kundalini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is why I'm very like the way I kind of see. I think like it can work in two ways. First of all, it can like kind of prepare you for that practice, as in to help you to relax and kind of like soften up, and so you go into whether it's yoga or meditation in a more like prepared state. You're not like so on the edge. You kind of you're bit more open to receive it, like power of Kundalini Yoga, whatever it is, that transformation that could come. But equally, I think if you've done a lot of practice, if you've done, I don't know, a lot of like Kriya or like meditation work, then it can help you to integrate, and kind of like what we do in Shavasana, like this is the process of and time of integration. I feel like forest bathing can help to like us to like really allow all the benefits of the practice to sink in, to really kind of embody all those benefits, and really really feel them, and make them stick even for longer or more profound way, right?
Absolutely. I had exactly the same word coming to my mind as you were talking, that
Mm,
preparation, integration, but also release, because we can really, it's a very safe space, nature, for release. So there might be
mm,
something on the mat that you feel kind of coming up to the surface, but it's just not quite ready. And then kind of stepping out into nature could also bring opportunity to release
yeah,
that as well.
I can see, for sure I can see that happening, and uh, I can see how this can help to open up even more and go deeper into, wow, this is incredible. I love that. I think
Really amazing.
I think it will be a really, really nice. It's all about connection, because this is what forest bathing is, and Kundalini yoga as well is. But it will be March 2023, so it will be time of kind of spring, kind of almost on the way. So it will be all about kind of recharging, refreshing, starting afresh, renewing yourself, right?
Absolutely, like just really establishing that deep connection going into spring. That's going to be really powerful.
And I think like depending where you are, maybe you don't have any connection and it's all like very new and you feel actually super disconnected. You might want to come to retreat, or you have a very deep connection with, I don't know, whether it's with yourself, with your own practice, or with the universe, with the divine, but you want to even deepen that connection. It will work in many many ways, really depending where you are. I always say that with Kundalini yoga, it almost like doesn't matter like where you are on your journey, like different people come to the same space and they benefit from it on a different level. I'm sure it's the same with forest bathing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You receive from nature what you need on the day, whether that, yeah, whatever that is, whether it's release, re-energizing, healing. Yeah, it always gives you what you need. It always knows.
Great. So the retreat that we're doing in March is from the 10th till 12th of March 2023. It's in North Wales, in Trigonos, a really beautiful like a retreat space, and we would love to see you there. If you would like to join Kundalini Yoga and forest bathing retreat and allow yourself to relax, to recharge, reconnect with yourself, with others, with the universe, please come and join us at the retreat. Myself and Amanda will be there together, guiding and supporting you.
Amazing. It's going to be great.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for the chat, Amanda. It's been great, and now I'm even more excited about the retreat and doing it together with you.
Me too. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you very much then. Thank you. Bye.
See you soon.